Now, I'd like to welcome you to the Local Live show today, Thursday news, the latest in a whole lot of news, what's going on in the world, the usual thing. As I was saying, I made one quite a few now this week, and I'm just getting more up to date on the various thing. I had the RTE page up here, just the latest what's going on. Liam Neeson among actors campaigning for Spacey's return. That story then was Liam Neeson, Sharon Stone, and Stephen Fry are among stars from both sides of the Atlantic who were campaigning for Kevin Spacey to resume his acting career after 7 years of exile. The Oscar winning actor was one of the most recognized faces in Hollywood, despite being acquitted of a number of sexual offences after a trial in London and winning a civil lawsuit. In a statement in the Telegraph newspaper, fellow actors have come out in support. Irish star Liam Neeson told the paper, Kevin is a good man and a man of character. Based against, I can't wait to see Kevin back. So there's a few there that's looking for Kevin Spacey to come back in acting, which is a good thing in a way. And then actor Steve Buscemi punched by a man on New York Street. I saw that story there. It was a terrible story. Actor is okay after being punched to the face by a man on New York Street. He, as his publisher says, 66-year-old star of Fargo on Boardwalk Gambit was assaulted. Steve Buscemi was assaulted in Midtown Manhattan, another victim of a random attack of violence. The assault was first reported by the New York Post. The New York Police Department said that there has been no arrest. And then another story then that's doing around is Paths to Freedom star Michael McElhatton has teased the return of RT hit comedy Paths to Freedom, the six-pack comedy drama which was first broadcast on RT in 2000. Brendan Coyle played Jeremy, a middle class who ended up in prison for drink driving, so he didn't rule it out, which is return to Rats would be a good thing. He explained how his character is an opportunist and admits he wouldn't like to sit next to him at a dinner party. He's an utter cynic, really. So, Rats, imagine Rats returning to modern day life now. What would it be like? And thing. And then I was also looking at Greg Allen. He McElroy Bullish star outlining. He was just saying this year's second major golf star often strives harder to live up to more illustrated sounding titles of the other three on the roster. This year, there's the case probably more than ever before, with the UFC moving back after a decade to Valhalla in Kentucky. It's like the PGA of America looked at the fractured nature of men's professional golf and found a way to paper over the cracks for most week in the calendar for including no fewer than 16 live golf series players to augment the best of the PGA Tour. So he writes an article there about the golf and how it's doing, and Dublin and Offaly set for Leinster final there. That hasn't happened for a long time. County Dermot O'Doula led the way at a Dublin man after 4 goals to go. He turned the tables in a remarkable fashion. On the evening of a high drama, Dublin 4-17 defeat of Galway 20 points, and Howard is Offaly 2-17 to 2-16 over Penny. So it's Dublin and Offaly. I can't remember that hasn't happened for a long time, and it's good really in a way, and it makes you think anything can happen, and especially thing. And then I go to the Wicklow News. Just scroll through that. Wicklow on in consecutive call-outs to help cake and motorboat crew. That story then was, it just says, the voluntary crew page found this just on after the Coast Guard received a report that 2 kayak has captured in the River Archie, which flows into River Harpy. The inshore lifeboat hemmed by Paul Silly was on scene with a couple of minutes of launching. Once on scene, the crew discovered that 1 casualty had been made offshore, so there's always accidents there on sea. And our Wicklow website, it's under construction according to this for Wicklow News. They're modernising it, how they do their business. It's so that would be a good thing. And then the Irish Times, as I was saying there, I can't put that away. I look at that a lot. Ireland could get 5,000 visas if new bill passes through US Congress. E2 program was originally meant by Australians, but it has been unsubscribed. And then the other review was that series that was on there tonight, the dry review. The Irish City Gum sparkles once you get past the alcohol plinces. I must look at that. I taped it there to try season 2. And then Adam I that scores Celtic clinch Scottish Premier title in style. And St John's Ambulance child abuse survivors claim clarity has failed to implement reforms, and every child in the state should have the opportunity. So that is the latest then, the news then that's going through the many thing, the political news. So in the Oireachtas committee of delivery of teams being impacted by delayed committee. And gambling bill has no integrity as it fails to deal with National Lottery and Euromail. Stephen Donnelly's knits and pause is wrecked by news of pouches. So that's the latest news on that. And then the latest in the world of sport, Gaelic Games. It just says Gaelic Games, Croke Park will not host Europa League final fan zone has been previously reserved, so that is Johnny McCaffrey hopes Dublin can end a long wait for a championship to win over Kilkenny, and that's another match that's played this week. There's quite a few. Dublin and Donegal are Ireland senior football openings to be shown live on GA Go, so it's going below the, as I was saying there, it's going under the radar for paywall. And then the latest on the Hogan stand, which I have been doing the rounds, so it's interesting when you come to look at the Hogan stand. It just gives you an article there. The GA has detached itself according to what this man is saying there. He says in a Facebook post, which is accompanied by a standing beside his statue of Michael Hogan, as he stands as beside the beautiful memory to Michael Hogan. I wonder what these great men would think of the GA and the greedy way they are treating the people of Ireland, particularly the elderly, in my heroes. The GA has detached itself from the decent folks. There are lots of people who don't have internet. You should be ashamed of yourself. Deprive people of access to games. And that's a terrible thing when you come to think of it. And that's a well-known man in the GA. I can't think of his name there. So he's talking out about the GA and it's how it's detached itself from the society, and the GA Go, which is putting itself forward in many things, and it's being detached by in that's the way I think of myself, the way they're treating the community. And then I go back to the RTE website. I go back to the main. There's soccer. There's a lot of soccer matches on this week, including the English. I was going to just go through the fixtures there in the English League. I think Manchester City really have it wrapped up there. I was just talking about that earlier on, but in an interview I was interviewing, and which will be on the show. I was interviewing someone there on the show, a guy there, a filmmaker, Tim Nolan, and I will put that interview up there later on. It's interesting, and we were just talking about Manchester City, and they seem to have the title wrapped up now in gut. So it just says in this thing, it says Arsenal and Everton. That's the match that's on Sunday. Brentford and Newcastle United, and Brighton Hove and Albion and Manchester United. And then Burnley and Nottingham Forest, that's the other match. Chelsea and AFC Bournemouth, and Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, and Liverpool and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So there's a good few matches. And then Manchester City and West Ham United. So on the table then, I was just saying, table is 88 points. Manchester City have 88 points. Arsenal then second, 86. Liverpool have 79, and Aston Villa 68, and Tottenham Hotspur 63. So, and Man United are down to 8. So that's the table then. So there's quite a few matches there on Saturday to look at, and it's really an interesting race running now, as it's and then on the Irish Independent website, I'll see now how I'm going on this podcast, 11 minutes into it. So I was just going to talk about the Irish Independent thing. I had it opened, and so let me see. There is a news article there about McIlroy, I think, Rory McIlroy, and if I can get it open there. So let me see. I'll open it again. So stop share. So I accept it. So that's then the article. So there's more about Liam Neeson there, among group of Hollywood actors calling for Kevin Spacey to return to acting after 7 years of exile. I read that that was on the RTE website, and there's more about it then on the Irish Independent. Shannon Stone, Liam Neeson and Stephen Fry among the stars campaigning, and he says it's terrible that they're blaming him for not being able to come in terms with himself, for using him and negotiate with himself because he didn't get their secret agendas. A spokesman for Channel 4 says Spacey and Mask is an important film exploring the balance of power. So that was the film they made about Kevin Spacey, and then more about Rory McIlroy. I'm ready to play. Rory McIlroy refuses to answer questions about divorce from wife Erica as he faces the media. And then European election polls show Barry Cowan could fall foul of party split role while Mick Wallace base scrapes to get back in. There's quite a few there looking to get in. And over 1,000 high DUP texts show party leaders mocking Catholic Church and political rivals. So I'm not sure what that story is about. More than 1,000 text messages with the DUP's most senior figures have been published. The WhatsApp messages, some of which are accurately embarrassing to the senior party, are being made public after they were given the DUP message from WhatsApp groups containing executive ministers, special advisors, and other senior party specs. So it doesn't help them when they're getting that. And now I was just gonna, I'm well into this podcast. I have an interview coming up, which I'll probably play it there at the end of the thing. I was just talking about my film with Tim and his film, so I'm gonna play it after this. My show is finished, and I hope you enjoyed the interview. I haven't got many interviews on my podcast, which I am going to promote. I'm looking for guests at the highest order, so I hope you enjoy my podcast anyway. And as I was saying, I am looking, I mentioned coming soon, I think. Coming soon. I was just going to talk about coming soon there, just to finish there. The Stranglers Chapter 1, producer Courtney Sandeman talks Horace trilogy. She had an interview there. And Nobody Wants the First Looks preview next, starring Christy Bell. That's another thing. Tim McGraw to star in your titled Bull Riding Network series. And there's quite a few. And Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum story, details tease, won't be fourth movie in the trilogy, Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum. So that's the title of the film, The Hunt for Gollum. So I'm not sure but the details of the film as such, and Jodie Comer Lee, Kate Mannix, The Last Stones of Madeline Hind. So I was saying, what is the world of Donald Trump? Joe Biden, I see, has asked him to a debate. I think he's mad. I wouldn't debate him with a barge pole if I had my way. He is all the crimes they're saying. Robert De Niro has. I looked at his interview there the other day, and he's given his honest opinion of the whole lot. And so that's all my stay. I was just going to talk about film now. Film is important in everything. Making films, it's a hard process. That is just what I was going to say before. I'm going to interview to Tim, the next thing section on the program. But I just like to leave my podcast anyway. I think it's very important. Film and the process. It's a hard process making films and go through travel process. That will be interview. And I'd like to finish my podcast now today, and I'll be back with another podcast. I've gone through the Gaelic predictions. Wicklow have a hard match this week, Wicklow and Laois. I just hope that they win. They could do a win now. So I'd like to end my podcast there today, and thanks for listening. And the interview will be coming up after this. So thanks very much, and goodbye for now.
Hello, I'd like to welcome you to my podcast show today. I have an interview on it today. I was just going to talk to Tim Nolan. Thanks for joining me on the interview. I was just going to talk a bit about my film. I've made a film, Lorcan Live show. It hasn't gone up on anything yet. Just based on my podcasts, and I came up with the idea in the course. It was interesting. We had to come up films, make films, come up with film ideas, and that was the thing I came up with. And you came up with then for your film, you came up with an idea. So what did you think of the process of making films?
Yeah, it's a long process. There's a lot of steps to it.
Yeah,
Um, we all got there in the end, though. I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So I'm saying we had to do them. Different assignments, so it was very hard for most of us, but we got
yeah,
there anyway.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, we're
so
all excited to show them off.
I just thought I'd promote it anyway and mention it. I was mentioning it there, and you made the film as well. What was your film again? Or
So it's a documentary called Club of Friends, and it's about some of my friends who watch sports on television, and just talking about their what basically how what they watch, why they watch it, who they watch it with, how it affects their well being, and in general, it's a nice watch, and hopefully I'll be premiering that soon. Um,
like
this,
we're premiering our films in the film UCD cinema.
yeah,
So it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, Tim?
yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
excited for it.
yeah.
Hopefully, there's good turnout there.
And there's about other six other films in it, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, lots of different
I've
types.
invited some of the other people that were doing the course onto this as well, but uh,
Yeah,
none of them have taken it up yet. So yeah,
hopefully soon.
yeah, yeah. So I just had a note. I thought I'd mention about the films anyway, because it's as you said, it's a long process and earlier on, I was just looking at the news. I was just going to go away now. I was just looking at the news there about the matches. There's a big
Yeah,
match on there tonight, Tottenham Hotspurs and Manchester City. Huge match.
big one, I think. Yeah, it could be.
No, no, it's only on tonight. It's at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Huge
it's huge,
match
huge.
on, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, that'll whoever wins that now, I say Manchester City. If they win that, they'll win it. I say,
they'll win that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Mm.
So
maybe that'll.
I just leave it at that anyway. I thanks for joining me anyway, Tim, and
Thanks for the honor.
thanks for joining me on this podcast. Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.